I'm going to talk over and tell you the story about these little figs. I'm going to talk over this part. You've seen how I get them ready to root and use the hormones. So watch this, but enjoy the story behind them. I got these cuttings from a fella named Malcolm Heath. He's running his business as Trees of Eden, Forest of Eden. That's it, not trees, but there's probably trees in the forest. Anyway, it's Forest of Eden, and Malcolm sends wonderful stuff. I've been dealing with Malcolm for a little while, a couple, 3 or 4 years, and everything I've gotten is just perfect. The particular reason that I got these, I'm calling them Teramo or Teramo. They're from Italy, and I'm not Italian, so I apologize for butchering the name. But these things were first found in Eastman, Maryland, and there was a young lady who was Italian, and she was from the Abruzzo region of Italy. And she wanted to come to America and open up a bed and breakfast, and she started collecting things to bring with her to remind her guests of her home world in Italy. And one of the things that she brought was this fig. I'm sure she brought a cutting, and just like we do, she rooted it and grew it. But she thought this was the best tasting fig variety from her home. And that's how we get Italian figs all the way to Broomtown. And the way that I found them was through Malcolm. I was looking for something that was cold hardy. Figs where we live are notorious for not making it through the winter. So this little guy, if he's been in Maryland for all these years, he's probably going to do well for us. So that's how I chose him. He's an Italian fig in Broomtown, Alabama. Who knew? One of the things that I like about this Teramo fig is it wasn't lab grown. It wasn't bred to death to get a particular type of trait. This fig is old, and this fig has been handed down for over and over and over through generations, and it's it's an exact duplicate of the ones that were in Italy. So I like that. You know that I'm a sucker for a good story. I like that an Italian person brought it over and got it started here, and then it's been, I guess we'll use the word, disseminated across the population of fig enthusiasts by people like Malcolm. So you have to give Malcolm as much credit as anybody, because without somebody like him that I found on the interweb, I wouldn't have these, and this story probably can be repeated over and over and over by other people who have discovered it. I like this little fig. I can't wait for next year when we get a harvest off of it, and I'm sure we'll do a update on it then. Hey, I want to show real quick those figs that I showed you when we were going to try to root them when they were just sticks. They've really done well. I think I got 100% to root on these, and on these harder ones, I even got some of those to come along this time. So that's good. You see, it's interesting how far behind you think figs are, would be figs, but they're not. Some of these are slower, and obviously some of these are more vigorous, but all in all, that's a good year for me. Welcome to Broomtown. We're gonna pot up some figs that I rooted. We made it to June. It's hot, and seems like a good time to do some fig work. These little figs here, I got as sticks from Malcolm over at Forest of Eden, and I would say these did well. I showed you on another video taking them and getting them ready to root, putting the hormone on, and I think every one of them made it. So let's get these little guys in their own pot, and they can continue growing. They're getting crowded in here. All right, let's see what we got. We have roots, just a few, huh? Let's move this and separate these without killing everybody. When you're doing this, you need to do it thoroughly, but time is of the essence. You don't need to leave these are babies, and you don't need to leave these exposed more than you have to. I wouldn't start this process and then, go in the house and go to lunch or something and leave them out here to cook. It's warm, and while they are moist, they are they're just really susceptible. But isn't that beautiful? They've done such a good job. There, that's a start. I won't hold all these out at once. Keep them in together. I use that cocoa guire, ever how you pronounce it, and it's really it's amazing. It holds moisture. I will use that in the future. I don't know if that's part of the success here, but it's definitely worked. Let's get a little base. I want to put him about that deep in there, so more dirt. It's getting there. We'll firm him a little. And I won't leave him in the hot blazing sun. I may find a nice little, once I get him potted up and get him watered up, I'll find him a nice little warm place. I mean, warm. Find him a nice little shady place. Kind of like maybe over here. This won't hold them all, but this will be okay for right now. And then I'll water them probably a couple of times a day for the next week, and then bring them back to the wagon. I got this wagon at the world's longest yard sale. Really good friend of the family found it and called me at the office and said, "You want this railroad wagon?" And I thought, I don't have a clue what I would do with it, but it's probably pretty cool. It's old. I don't know where you can get another one. That's always my philosophy, and the wife gets mad because I use that logic on a lot of stuff. But this has made the best planter in the world. It's there's no telling how many plants I have propagated and babied on this little baggage carrying wagon for the Jacksonville, Florida Transit Company. That's what it's got painted on it anyway. And it's nice. There's two. Perfect example on waste not, want not. These little pots. You don't ever throw anything away, or I don't ever throw anything away. And I ordered almost 200 muscadines, and you probably saw some of that on my channel. But when I planted in the ground, I saved all the pots. Cindy's like, "What are you gonna?" I don't know. They'll come in handy. This is an example of handy. It don't cost me anything. I have plenty of these plastic pots to use, and I didn't have to spend any extra money. So to me, all that is a win-win. I have to fully admit, I know Malcolm, the guy that I got I don't know if in figs you call it sign, and fruit trees you call it sign wood. However, the guy I got the cuttings from on these, he always jokes and makes them out like the Chuck Norris of figs, and they may be, but these little guys are something else as far as the way they're rooted. It's some folks ask me, how do you get such good, good luck? And I do have good luck, especially rooting stuff, but it may just be that luck and the process. Follow the process. You got once you figure out a system that you like and you have some success, be a scientist. Replicate the method that you use, and and it'll work every time. And then if it doesn't, you can assume that it's not you, it's something environmental. And that's worked for me well. Figs are notoriously easy. There's some other stuff that we propagate that I don't get near this kind of success rate. So I'm not taking the credit. I'm thinking it's this variety and the process. But see, that's a pretty little guy right there. Roughly a few weeks ago, he was just a stick that I had in the refrigerator, and the process works. All right, that's probably going to be a wrap on Teramo. I don't know the pronunciation. That's close. And while I finish these last few, I did a video with those Martin figs. I call them Martins because I don't know their name. And they come from the house, old home place from the Martins. And so from now on, as far as I'm concerned, those are Martin figs. They've done good. They handled this transfer well, just like these little guys are getting. And once again, I'll have more fig trees than I can give away. I don't sell. It's not a business for me. It's something I enjoy. And all the neighbors usually benefit from them because I give away about everything I do, and that's good. Some people don't, are not retired. They don't have the time to do this kind of stuff, and I do, and I enjoy it, and it's cheaper than a therapist. So, there you go. Meanwhile, in Broomtown, I'll see you next time. No telling what we'll be potting and planting. Thanks for watching. One thing real quick I wanted to show, if we can get a good close-up of this potting medium. That is that cocoa guire, and I put a little vermiculite in it just to keep it kind of soft. But it allows those roots to really go crazy, and they're not having to push through hard dirt. I don't want them to live in that, but it's a great rooting medium, and it's not hard to come by. I bought it from Mr. Amazon, and they sent it to the house. So if you can find that cocoa bricks, they really do a good job. I'm going to show a couple of pictures, one of the figs and kind of one as they've grown a little bit. I guess the ultimate question here is why, Tom, why do you need this many figs? And the quick answer is I don't. I ordered these and I didn't know how many were going to make it. I had no clue that all of them were going to make it. And now they have. So now I have all these figs, and I really wanted one, So, if you're local and you want a fig, hit me up. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you would, take a second to hit the subscribe button for us. It helps us a lot. I appreciate it.